Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a little different and pretty fun. I wanted to talk about my personal experience flying Frontier Airlines for the first time. So I am someone that travels quite a bit. I am based out of Austin. I do travel to New York and LA for work quite often. And then my boyfriend is a professional hockey player, so he is often on the road, and I do live with him in North Carolina during the hockey season. So while he's on the road, I like to take those times to go home and visit my family and friends. I like to take any opportunity I get with YouTube and just any events that I'm invited to and different things that I can do to kind of broaden my horizons as well as my brand and just my own personal business. For us, I think that's a really great way to balance living together, but also me having my own identity and feeling fulfilled and doing my own things. So with that being said, I do have a pretty busy schedule, and it's not always the easiest to plan around certain events. With the climate of YouTube, I'm sure you guys know, there are so many people trying to be an influencer, trying to be a blogger, trying to be successful in this realm, that if I want to turn down an event or I don't want to show up to a business opportunity or something, there of course is another girl glad to take my place. So I do like to try to make it to as much things as I can, and with that a lot of times comes just very short notice. And so I've gotten very savvy about taking flights and trying to get good deals and just trying to make that really cost effective, because it can really add up. If you're someone who travels a lot, I'm sure you know. So when I did go to North Carolina from Austin, my flight on Southwest cost $356. Now then when I came back from Raleigh to Austin, my flight total on Frontier was $74.78. Now I'm going to tell you how I did that and kind of my thoughts on that. Reading online about Frontier Airlines, I've seen a lot of negative things. A lot of people say it's not a good experience, they don't recommend it, they hate flying Frontier, and they just would never do it again. I wanted to go ahead and take this upon myself and see what I thought personally and what my own experience was. So I went ahead to the airport, booked my flight, and I filmed the whole process to show you guys my honest, true opinion. This video, of course, is not sponsored by Frontier. There's no affiliation here, just my own honest opinion.
I feel a bit like an investigative journalist because I'm going to be taking you guys behind the scenes of the truth behind Frontier Airlines. Now, if you are someone who travels frequently, I would say I definitely am. I at least travel once a month, more probably 2 times a month for sure. And especially when my boyfriend is playing hockey during the season, I of course live with him during that, but I do travel back and forth a little bit just to work on my business, and for any travel opportunities I have with YouTube and stuff, I do have to travel a fair amount. So I've gotten really smart about taking flights, although unfortunately a lot of the time my flights are a little bit last minute. I do have a lot of events that come up kind of last minute and different things, so it can be hard to find a good deal on a flight. Now, something that I see over and over again are Frontier flights that are extremely cheap, you know, like $24, $50, $70, and for me, when you're talking one way, that is cheap. I will be honest and I'll say I've flown with Delta and American and United, and I've paid as much as like $300 one way, and that's not because I book it the day of or anything. I book it like a full, you know, sometimes weeks out, and it still is that much. I just feel like those airlines really do charge a lot. Sometimes you can find a great deal, I sure think that's possible, but for me it's typically around, probably a normal number is probably like $190 each way, which can definitely add up if you are traveling often. And again, that even goes up if you want to travel on the weekends or around certain holidays or even to certain destinations. It just can go up and up and up. Plus, when you do factor in having to check a bag, and then also if you want to upgrade your seats and all that kind of stuff, there just are fees that can come into play. So I wanted today to take a flight on Frontier and tell you guys what I think about it honestly. I've read the reviews. A lot of them are kind of negative, just saying the seats are not comfortable, saying you have to pay for everything, like the drinks on board, snacks, all that kind of stuff. Now, to be honest, I don't understand that, because I mean, the snacks they give you for free on any other airline are just like little tiny pretzels or peanuts, so I don't think it matters if you were to just go ahead and buy a little bag of chips or pretzels at the airport, as well as a drink. I like to do that anyways, so I don't know, for me that's not a huge problem. And again, I'll go more into kind of the fees and everything along with the bags, because I have a little rant about that. I'm not someone who doesn't like to check my bag. I pretty much always check a bag, so for me, having to pay for that and bringing a bag on the airplane that you have to actually pay for, it's really no different, because I always do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and head off to the airport, and I'll let you guys know how it goes. Okay, so I wanted to run you guys through the bags that I'm bringing. So I'm bringing this Chanel bag that I bring on all of my plane rides. It's a great bag to bring as a carry-on because it does kind of look like a purse, but it can fit actually a lot, including my laptop, which I'm about to put in, but I have it charging right now. And then I also just have my actual purse stuffed down inside here. And then this is my suitcase that I am going to be checking. It's pretty small, but I actually do have it pretty full just for these last few days here with Julian. I wanted to make sure I had all the stuff I needed, as well as just bringing my workout stuff and all that kind of stuff. So this bag I did go ahead and pay for on the Frontier Airlines website. Now, if you pay on the website, it says that it is cheaper than it is at the actual airport. So this is a bag, of course, that I guess people would normally try to put in the overhead compartment, but I'm going to just check it because on Frontier, even if you were going to put this on the overhead compartment, you were not going to check it as in not have it with you and have to pick it up at baggage claim. You still have to pay for it. And so that's where I think people get a little bit upset, because typically with airlines, you can bring a bag that is not checked, and that can be like a carry-on bag that you can stow in the overhead compartment for free. Now with Frontier, you cannot do that. You do have to pay for it, which on the one hand, I don't really mind because I always check a bag. I never have any problems with losing a bag or anything like that. And I don't know, that's just always what I do. So it's really not different for me, and it's not something that would sway me away from the airline. And to be completely honest, it somewhat bothers me when I go on an airplane and I always see those people bring a really large carry-on bag that they're going to ultimately check at the gate of the plane, and they try to just skirt the whole fee thing. I see people do that all the time. Basically, their bag is like huge, almost to the limit of any bag that would even fit in the overhead compartment, and because they bring it on normally at your gate when you are loading up the plane, they're going to say, hey, we will check a bag complimentary, because they don't have enough space for all the bags in the overhead bins. And yeah, I think most people just try to kind of skirt the system and have that bag go for free. So like I said, on Frontier, it does cost money, but it's no different for me because I always check a bag, and then I always bring a personal item like this that has just my purse and my laptop and everything, and I did not have to pay for this as well, because clearly this is quite a bit smaller than the suitcase, and I can stick this under the seat. That is the qualification for not having to pay for a bag. As long as you can fit it under the seat, you do not have to pay for it on Frontier. But if you want to put it in the overhead bin, you do need to pay for it like a checked bag. All right, so that's pretty much it.
Your final boarding call for Flight 1818 service to Charlotte. Heading AC-15. All ticket confirmed passengers should be on board at this time. Final boarding call for 1818 service to Charlotte.
Alright guys, so I made it to the airport, got my bag all checked in. I didn't have to pay anything here at the airport because I already did that online. I did see a sign though, if you didn't do that in advance, you do have to pay $60 for a bag that you want to put in the overhead compartment. So make sure you do it online so you don't have to pay that fee at the Frontier desk at the actual airport. I do have my carry-on right here that of course was free. That's just my personal item since it does fit under the seat. And next is to just get on the plane and then show you guys how the service is. So far everything has been very smooth and I'm pretty excited.
So first I want to go ahead and break down the price, because I feel like that's the number one reason why people would want to fly Frontier. It is a budget airline, which means they can give you really, really great prices by kind of cutting out those extra things that make the whole experience kind of luxurious. So you're definitely going to get a very bare bones experience with Frontier, and I'm going to tell you kind of how they do that and why they do that. So first, just go ahead and breaking down the actual flight. So my airfare on Frontier for a one-way flight cost $35.55. Then I went ahead and checked my bag, which was $25, and I bought a seat for $13 as well. Then once I added in all the taxes and fees, I used a promo code, and that removed $32.22, which again ended up making my total for the entire flight plus my bag plus a special seat $74.78. So that's really insane. Again, comparable to my Southwest flight that cost $356 one way. Insane. And I would say my overall experience with them was incredible. I'm going to go ahead and run you guys through it, but definitely do go ahead and check your bag online. You really save so much money with that. I did go ahead and film a little clip of how much it costs to do that at the airport. It's insane. I think a big gripe for a lot of people on Frontier is you do have to like pay for extras. You do of course get to bring a personal item that can fit under the seat for free. So if you are really thrifty, you of course could fit everything into a backpack or a large purse purse or a really small duffel bag, and you can kind of avoid that fee of being charged for a carry-on bag. That is a little tip, and you can completely do that. Just make sure that you read online the guidelines and everything, and your personal item isn't too large, because if it is, then they will go ahead and make you check it, and if you didn't do online, you're going to pay a lot more at the airport. The next issue that a lot of people have with Frontier is the fact that they don't give you free food and drink. You do have to pay for those, which to me isn't a problem because I don't like using airplane restrooms, so I try to avoid drinking as much liquid on a plane as I can. I know a lot of people feel dehydrated and just kind of worn out from traveling, but for me, I don't know, it's not a problem. So bringing a little drink that I buy at the airport and then just sipping on it throughout the flight really was totally fine. And then as well as snacks. For me, a flight that's under 3 hours, I don't need to be snacking throughout that time, and that wasn't a big problem for me. But I did read a lot of reviews that people were very mad about that. As far as the seats, I feel like they are very close together, as in you're close to the seat in front of you, and they don't like recline, at least that mine didn't. And a lot of people had a lot of issues with this on their reviews, just saying they're very uncomfortable, they're not padded, they're really squished and small. I didn't find that to be true because, like I said, I did go ahead and buy a seat that was on the window, and I don't know, I'm 5'5", I feel like I'm average build. I don't think I'm extremely petite, but I also don't feel like I'm a large human being. So for me, it was totally fine. I was not uncomfortable and I had enough space. But my boyfriend is 6'4". He has very large and long legs. So I do think if you are extremely tall or just have a larger body, you might feel a little compacted in those seats because they are small. They're trying to save space so that they can give you a really nice price. So if that is something that is a negative for you, maybe kind of keep that in the back of your minds. But for me, getting from point A to point B on a flight is the whole point. I'm not going on a flight to have like a luxurious, amazing experience. I don't find flying relaxing, so even if I'm on an airline where I have a larger seat, to me it still is just going on a plane, and it still is just part of the travel process, and it's not like a fun part of it, if that makes sense. For you, if you love going on planes and that's something where you really enjoy that and you want to spend more money going on a flight that costs more and that has some of those added perks, maybe that's more up your alley, and that just is kind of a personal thing. But again, for me, since I travel so often, I just want to get there, and if I can get a really great price doing it, I'm gonna do that. The next little thing was about the tray tables. They are very small. So again, with getting the free drinks and stuff, even if you are given a drink and you buy one, I don't think you'd want to put it on that tray table. Just with turbulence and everything, it's so small, it could easily fly off. So again, I think having a drink that you bought at the airport with a cap is just the better way to go. And I didn't put my laptop on the tray table either because the depth is not very deep. I just left that on my lap and I just watched my movie that I downloaded, and that was totally fine because I feel like it gives you a bit more privacy too. Not everyone is like staring at your screen, and I always do that no matter what airline I'm flying, so that's no different really. As far as the flight attendants and everyone else that I encountered flying with Frontier, everyone was very nice and helpful. I did have a small delay in my flight, and the next morning I woke up in my email, I had a voucher from Frontier. Without me having to call or anything, I didn't complain. They just gave that to me, which I thought was really nice. And I definitely have had a lot of issues flying before with delays and that kind of stuff, and I don't think that that means it's Frontier's fault. Like I said, when I did go on Southwest coming from Austin, I had a delay as well, and they didn't issue any apology or any voucher or anything. I think it's just kind of the name of the game, especially with flying during like peak times. It's just crowded and things happen. So for me, that wasn't a negative, and I don't think it was their fault. And yeah, I think they handled it really well by issuing that voucher on their own. I really appreciated that, and I think that showed them going the extra mile and doing something they didn't have to do. So my overall thoughts on Frontier are pretty amazing. I definitely will be flying them again because I had such a great time. I felt very safe, it was very clean, and the whole atmosphere of the flight was pretty great. If you would like to see more videos like this in the future, please let me know. I always want to make videos that are helpful, and I really enjoy making videos about saving money and kind of smart little tips and tricks. I think as long as you go into it on a Frontier flight knowing the things I said and the things I mentioned, then you'll have a wonderful time, and I do hope that you will save some money while you're doing it. That's it. I'll see you guys later, and thanks so much for watching. Bye!